habits take time to form. Why are you going after these goals in the first place? And good morning, welcome back to Kahmasi. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the channel dedicated to growth and development, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and of course financially. So I don't have a set topic. It's really early in the morning, and when I woke up I realized that a lot of persons, and I have done it before in previous years, have this tendency to say, alright, when January 1st 2023 comes, this is what I'm going to be changing, these are the things or the people that I'm going to be taking out of my life, these are the goals that I want to achieve. But what I think that people fail to realize is that habits take time to form, and if there is something that I want to start working on, the real date is January 1st, right? My advice would be to start working on it a few months before, because while habit formation will take weeks for some people, it may take years, and this may serve as a discouraging factor for persons who have goals that they want to achieve in maybe the first quarter of the year or maybe the first month of the year. And there is also the part where you will get discouraged. A lot of persons will get discouraged because some of these goals aren't easily attainable. One, some persons aren't in the mindset. Two, some persons may believe that they don't have the required resources, and that may serve as what's it called? It will pop, it will pop up on the screen factor. So they try it the first time, it doesn't work, and you say, alright, I wanted to achieve it in the first week of January. That doesn't work, so you're saying, alright, the first week done, me not try to go there again, right? So by the end of the year, December 31st 2023, you've realized that you haven't achieved not even 80% of these goals. I want to say 50% of these goals, because one, you did not know the amount of work or effort that it would take to achieve these goals. Let me give you a prime example. I kind of just attack off the top of my head. I'm not even brush off the something off of me, because it just came to mind. I'm like, when I started my first business, which is versions of skin and hair care, and if you're over here, you'd hear about it and even see products, right? I was not, I don't consider myself ready, didn't consider myself ready. And there are a lot of things now that I don't consider myself ready for. But I've learned that there is not a right time. So instead of waiting until the January of 2021, I went ahead and started in late October of 2020. Now, the things that I learned in those, can say those 2 months that remained in the year, are priceless, because that means if I was supposed to start in January, I would just be learning these things. But instead of doing that, when I started in October, I could implement the things that I've learned into the year of January. But praise said that for the stories are full, the year of January. There is also a case where a lot of persons, and it's the truth, will not achieve these goals because one, you're not disciplined enough to understand that, look, this is what I need to do to get there. And I think a lot of persons use discipline and motivation. I think by this time people stop, but yeah, discipline and motivation interchangeably. The thing is, you won't always be motivated, and that's just the truth. Sometimes all when you're done and you do well, the motivation is not there. But discipline is saying, alright, here what? I'm not up for it today, and it needs to be done. And I think a lot of persons in who are entrepreneurs may go through this, and it may cause your business to fail because you don't have somebody behind you who is pushing you to say, alright, this is supposed to be finished by 5. So as an entrepreneur, you are not motivated. So you say, alright, we can do this tomorrow because we not have, and then you continue, you break yourself into that habit of pushing things back because you are not motivated. So a lot of persons don't achieve their goals not because they aren't capable, but because they are not disciplined enough to understand that you're not going to always do things where you like. There are going to be one and two loopholes that you have to jump through to get to where you want to go. The path not going to always clear, you're not going to always feel like to get up and take the things out of the way, but it's a part of life. And when people say only the fittest of the fittest survive, I'm really understanding that no. There is also a case where some persons don't achieve their goals because of the mindset that they're in. There are some persons who are doing everything that needs to be done, but it's just not the time for them to achieve the goals. There may also be cases where if you believe in a God, if you believe in the universe, anything that you believe in, even if it's just yourself, right? And you're doing everything right, but however you're supposed to get it, there is an understanding that if you get it, you're going to waste it because you don't understand the value of what it is. You think you understand the value of what it is, but you honestly don't understand the value in what you're going to be getting. And that might be the one time that you're going to be getting that dream or anything that your goal that you've been working on. And from that one goal, you're supposed to flip it and make more. But because you're not in the mindset, what might happen is that you might waste it, and then that opportunity never comes back. There's nothing to flip. So sometimes that mindset that we're in, sometimes you're really just not ready. You might be hearing birds. You're really not ready, and if you're working with somebody or yourself, there signs are on and persons are willing to do investment. No, investment isn't not about money only. There are other things that you invest, time, energy, right? So you're just not ready. There is also the case where there's comparison, and this might come off a little bit, but there's comparison. Alright, both of us set goals for January 1st, 2023. You're not seeing everything that I'm doing, but from the looks of it, what you're seeing is that I'm doing the same thing as you, and you are not achieving your goals in the same time frame, and this serves as a discouraging factor for you because you say, alright, how comes me I do this and she do this, and she's achieving but I'm not achieving, right? While behind the curtains, I am putting in, my voice is kind of early morning, putting in the work and doing all the things that need to be done, the things that you say that you're not going to do because you know want to go through that I don't want to say soft life, I really don't want to, but it's somewhat in that area. And yeah, you don't want to do those things because you're above those things. And I think the biggest lessons are under our feet, where everything starts. Because if you don't have a firm foundation, why are you going after these goals in the first place? And there are some areas in which my why is not as strong, and I realize that, listen, I kind of under, because there's some parts of the why that I'm not really understanding, but where's I going? There are other parts that I'm getting a full understanding of. Each time you drop or you stumble or you slide, you have to ask yourself, is this goal worth it, right? And if the response is not at 100% yes or 90% yes, then why would you continue to move on to the next thing, the next best thing that's there? And then it comes down to this as well, where plan B's and plan C's, and oh, the person that I was speaking to the other day is over here about this plan A and plan B and plan C and plan D. No, I'm not saying that plan B is not a good thing to have. But what I realized is that sometimes when we have, let me check if it's when I record. Alright, open and move it too much. That when we have plan B's, it doesn't serve us any good. Here's why. Alright, for example, I'm working on plan A and I know that plan E may not give me the 100% satisfaction that I need, but it will get me close enough and I'll be satisfied. And sometimes being satisfied is another thing that we can get into, where it actually disrupts the, I don't want to say achieving of our potential, but we can say it like that, right? Our full potential, not like every day, but yeah. We have plan B, so we don't put all of the energy in plan A because we're saying, alright, I have plan B and I can fall back on plan B. No, if you had plan A only, if you tell us that you have plan A only, you will do anything, you will move the ends of the earth to ensure that plan A works, because you know that there's no backup. Alright, look at persons who have a strong support system and it's not a need for them to do something. They don't put much effort into what they're doing because if they fall off, they know that there's somebody there to catch them. Look at a person who has no one around, may not have all of the resources, but has one plan and knows that if they fail at that one plan, there's nobody to help them. There is a different level of drive. There's a different level, I don't want to say motivation, there's a different level of discipline. My voice is going. There's a different level of dedication. It's a dedication already, drive, discipline, dedication. There is a different level of hunger because they know that if plan A fails, this is it for me. And I don't want you to feel like failure is not an option. I do not like that, because sometimes we're on the wrong path and we need to fail to understand that, listen, we need to reroute. No, I'm not saying to praise failure or fail because you are not disciplined enough. I'm saying that if you have tried everything that is there and you have changed the way how you operate or try to achieve these goals and they have not worked, maybe that is a sign within itself to say, alright, this is not for you, or this is not the time, or you need to be more patient. And I think a lot of persons are not patient when it comes on to achieving their goals. Is that, alright, no, me want it, no, me want it. And in all honesty, I struggled with patience this year, and I was like, I've always been, I consider myself overly patient because to me, I've let things and opportunities pass me because of patience. So to see this year that I was struggling to be patient with certain things because I'm like, I've been working on this goal for so long, nothing is happening, what am I supposed to be doing now? And there are times when it would hit, there are times when it has gotten to me because I say, alright, maybe this is not for me, but the truth is that there was something else that I was supposed to learn, there was something else I was supposed to understand, and learning and understanding are not the same thing, not extended right now, right? So I need people to understand that sometimes waiting causes a longer delay. Get up and do it now and learn that, alright, maybe route A is not what I'm supposed to take, it is route B. So when the actual time comes that you thought that you would have been ready, like the January 1st and the October, start from October, learn the lessons, learn things that I need to change, learn things that I need to incorporate. So that January, when I would have officially started, I will be implementing these lessons and these ways of doing things into my business or your life on a whole. Not to get up and say every year, oh, I'm going to change this, and you go through the same processes every year and you don't realize that something is actually wrong. Let me need like to stop and observe every year do the same thing. There's these goals that you keep bringing back. And as I stated before, there are some goals that need time and some things take years to grow. Me and you are the same thing, years pop up long before mine, and I've been working so hard. Sometimes honestly you've been working way harder than the person, but maybe one, it is not for you. You need to be patient. And the reward is way bigger, not to be comparing. But have you ever seen the, I think there are these pictures with like maybe somebody digging for a carrot and somebody digging for a diamond, and the person, one person finds a big enough diamond and the other person is at the same place of digging, but they're not finding anything, and there's just like an inch between them and that extremely large diamond, and they give up because me and you operate on the same time and you find something before me, so maybe there's nothing out there for me. So we also need to let go of some levels of comparison. Some levels of comparison are good because it shows us where we're slacking off, but not comparison to the state where it makes us jealous or envious of what somebody has. Because truth is, a lot of us are granted, I don't want to say a lot of us, a number of us are granted similar opportunities, right? But some of us choose not to do the work that is required while others do it, and then we get up of bad minding and we don't understand the struggles that somebody had to go through to achieve whatever it is. And then only the same one come back on beg and only have the same opportunities. So I'm saying what I think people should ask for this new year or look inward for is clarity. Ask for clarity. Sometimes the things that we need are right before us, but we don't understand the value in things. You know, like when you're small and you get something to play with. Well, it wasn't supposed to be played with. For example, wool. I do crochet. And somebody said to me, you know, I used to get wool for them, I used to play with them. And I'm like, look how I could I use it now. But at that point, you did not understand the value of it. Even though it was not mine, that person did not understand the value or how it was really to be used. They just chose to play with it. And now they're looking back and say, could I get something for me out of that, right? So it is, sometimes it requires research. Sometimes it requires speaking to others who are experienced. And I think pride, and I want to say ego, sometimes get in our way of achieving our goals, and it causes longer delays than what was expected. Sometimes I feel like we can do things off our own, and sometimes we really can't. We need other person to tell us like this is the route to get you there on time. Don't get me wrong. There are some things that we have to learn on our own, but some lesson once you learn it, it stuck with you for life, right? And I don't want to say it creates trauma, but it leads to trauma and it may serve as a hindering factor because honestly, some of these lessons that we are learning now, and I'm saying we could have learned from somebody else, but because we feel like we're above or certain things can't reach in our life, we say, alright, we're going to take the road because 100 people go down there and you're 101 and everybody drop. I'm saying there are instances where you might be the 101 person and it changes. But if you see certain signs, why you go down there? So I know that the video is kind of all over the place and my voice is going in and out. I need to get some tea. But I hope that you understand. I hope you camera focus. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. Don't wait until the appointed time to start working on your goals. And it's not just about goal setting. Sometimes when you're goal setting, even though the goal is small, you break it down into smaller steps. Alright, for example, your goal is to create 80 videos for 2023 for YouTube, right? You want 80 videos to be out. You break it down and you say, alright, maybe what are the three categories of content that I want? You want to do vlogs, you want to do skincare, you want to do chit chat videos. Three. How many of them do you think that I'll be able to do? You'll be able to do. Can you talk to yourself here? And after you do that, now you say, alright, how many weeks are in the year? And how many times a week or a month do I have to post to achieve this goal of achieving 80 videos for my YouTube channel? And you take your time and you break it down and say, alright, is there a specific time that I need to post to engage with the algorithm? I'm not saying that it will work, but to know that you have something clear that you're working with makes it way easier than you get up and say, alright, and I scratch it in. Which go if you try to achieve today again, and you go through the process. And then there's this thing where I personally, the other day I was saying, why am I keep on writing over my goals? Like each time I achieve something, it comes off, but I write over the others. And I felt like there was something wrong with me. Come here, say, I have 5 pages with the same things. I was like, no man, something wrong. But then I realized that it's for memory retention, and it keeps me aware that there are still things that I do not yet have that I want to have. Maybe I'm not supposed to have them, but only time will tell. But what I do is I keep a reminder to myself that if I slack off now, these 10 goals, you might not be able to achieve them. There is also this thing where I set a to-do list with 10 things. No guys, me I beg you, don't do that. You see, at the end of the day, if it's a daily to-do list or weekly, you might feel overwhelmed. In myself, I honestly know that some of these goals are going to be so hard to achieve, and I don't know why I write them. I am somewhat of an overachiever, and I don't celebrate small wins, which is bad. So that's something that I have already started to work on from the moment that I realized that that's a thing, and it's getting me to feel like I am not achieving enough, right? This may be the only time I was vulnerable, we don't know. I don't think it will happen again. But yeah. So celebrate small wins when you achieve these goals. It not been a big elaborate celebration, but even if it's by yourself, celebrate them, because it serves, we're going to come with motivation now as a motivational factor. Oh, there now blog gonna win. Motivational factor for you. Say, alright, I got some level of satisfaction. And don't let it be a case where you're relying on pleasure. Pleasure? Or me put word on the screen. As I said, me talk out of my head. Pleasure. And each time you do something, if you achieve it and you don't get that level of pleasure, you don't feel motivated. So you have to be careful with celebrating small wins, motivation, and habit formation. But I think this is where I'm going to be ending the video for today. Today is 27th of December, and it is about 9 a.m. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or anything that you'd like to say below, I am open to constructive criticism.